K. Robinson to all these black soul artists, just mesmerized me. That's how it all started for me. That was music to me. That's the core and foundation of JYP music.
South Korean media and influence has been dominating over here in the West. There has been such a spike in interest and popularity in Korean culture. I'm seeing it everywhere. There are so many new Korean restaurants in my city. I recognize a lot of their fashion in my stores, my closet included, and of course, the music.
What's up, Coachella? Did you see a mouse? No, she's that excited for Twice. Yes.
And I'm certainly not complaining. I think it's cool. And I'm pretty sure it's been going on for years and I'm just now noticing.
K-pop sensation TXT, and they are back now with a new album.
So happy they're here with us with their latest song, Smart. Y'all give it up for Les Seraphim!
I always knew I would end up a K-pop fan at some point in my life. I guess it was all about timing. And well, this genre does have a strong media presence here in the US. Fanbase too. And it's totally deserved. I love the music. It's really something special. And the South Korean media phenomenon just delivers so much to appreciate. K-dramas. What they say about the anime to K-pop to K-drama pipeline is absolutely true. I am a result of that. And I know for a fact that if I left you in a room with any of my favorite titles, you would come out the same way. This is a sign to watch K-dramas. You guys are seriously missing out on excellent storytelling. Now I understand why my mom spent so many years trying to recruit me. She was trying to put me on game.
What?
You missed it. Oh, I'm gonna go back.
Wait, what?
She's a senior in physics, and this is her bestie. And her bestie has the nerve to be trying to like her, the little one's boyfriend. She's an accounting major, okay?
Mm-hmm.
They both scientists, they physics. She has, the shorter one right there has a bad crush on him, but he don't even see her. He ain't thinking about her. So she does all kind of things to try to get his attention. He won't bite because he's crazy about this little girl here. His mom and her mom was besties in college and school.
But of course, for me, K-pop was the catalyst that started it all. Short for Korean popular music, K-pop, originating in South Korea, draws influence from a range of genres like pop, experimental, rock, hip-hop, R&B, electronic, and dance. There is a huge K-pop fan base here in the United States, and I have totally joined it. There's so much to love about this genre, and the K-pop industry really excels in marketing, music video production, choreography, and even encouraging parasocial relationships with the curated personalities of their idols. But what I love about it that eventually pulled me into the genre is that it is so friggin' cute and hella funny. I admit, I dove deep into the K-pop lore during the panorama, and I might have subscribed to a Netizen T channel or 200. The stories and rumors of what goes on behind the scenes fascinates me. Well, fascinates and concerns me. The K-pop industry is so messy. These companies, who low-key seem obsessed with presenting perfection, are the most diabolical behind the curtain. Although the behind-the-scenes drama is what initially caught my attention, it's a bummer to hear about the mistreatment and more corrupt side of the industry. Companies taking advantage of their idols, scamming them, favoritism, bullying, ice diets, plastic surgery, groups disbanding only months after their debut, the whole Manheejin versus Hybe thing, and paying talent $36 for those music show performances is insane. The K-pop industry is making money, so it's crazy when I hear about idols not getting paid. So, there are a bunch of different music companies. Some of them are huge and known for debuting superstars. Others are super desperate and will scam their way to the top. Mind you, I am not a K-pop expert. I get my information from the internet. Young adults, teens, but from what it seems, primarily children can audition to become trainees for these companies. Trainees are idols in training. The goal is to develop their skills and stand out enough to be selected for a group or soloist by the company. Throughout the training process, the trainees start to rack up a debt with their company, usually for room and board, and I imagine anything else deemed necessary for their program. So parents are coming out of pocket before they even hit the stage. And the idea is once you debut, you pay it off. Some trainees will train for years, like a decade. Not everyone who trains debuts, and not every group that debuts will be a hit. Some disband like a year after debuting. There are some pretty cool documentaries that show what it takes to become an idol. A lot of companies are hosting survival shows and creating groups with the contestants. But more on that later. So let me tell you a little about what I've observed since joining the K-pop community. And just give my overall opinion from my POV, so try not to take it so hard. Because there were so many random things in this genre and music industry that just stood out to me. The biggest being the revelation of how so many idols can't sing and practically rely on autotune and backtrack, the secret member. I was so shocked to discover that someone who couldn't carry a tune in a wheelbarrow was actually capable of having a successful career in K-pop. That blew my mind. But because I enjoyed the performances and everything else that comes along with K-pop, by the way, I came in during the start of the 4th gen, so it seemed pretty normalized as well. I accepted that maybe American vocal standards were just different than South Korean K-pop standards, especially coming from Black culture. Backtrack is almost unheard of over here. K-pop does tend to truly overperform when it comes to choreography and visuals, which unless you're Beyonce, Michael Jackson, or Usher, singing and dancing is probably impossible for most people. And yes, I know very talented main vocalists in K-pop exist. Even if someone doesn't have the gift of song, many can be trained. It just catches me off guard every time when the encore stage and the audio don't match. So, the fandom, of course, is one of the major defining aspects of K-pop. This fandom lives right between obsession and adoration. On the one hand, they are very caring and observant. They notice when members aren't themselves, are under stress or in pain, and they are very protective. They call out wardrobe issues, mistreatment, favoritism, potentially harmful practices or situations, and they collectively use their voice to express their overall concern for their artists, which is really sweet, right? This fandom knows how to use their power and influence, and they are truly dedicated to their fan base. They shower members with gifts that range from flowers to handwritten letters to handmade funny inside jokes to elaborate costumes. I guess that's fine, but I'm way too stingy with my money to buy rich people presents after spending hundreds to attend their concert. But you do you, I guess. I guess I'm just too American. Over here, our stars are trash people, and we know they wouldn't appreciate any of that from their fans. But K-pop companies pretty much encourage parasocial relationships between their fans and the idols. They allow their fans plenty of opportunity, for the right price of course, to meet and interact with their idols, such as meet and greets and video calls. But again, it's creepy because fans have previously hidden cameras in the gifts they give idols. There are a lot of fans who suffer from parasocial relationships, but then there are those who turn into complete stalkers and need to go to jail. Just reading about the crazy fan stories is entertainment, until it gets a little true crimey. Recently, an idol named Karina from the group aespa had to apologize for being in a relationship because the backlash from her fans was so severe it actually made her company's stock drop. Apparently, so many idols get so much backlash when they date that they often just keep it a secret. By the way, K-pop has its own vocabulary. An idol is what you call a K-pop singer or artist. It's a creepy title because their fans really do idolize and worship them to the point of insanity. It is frightening. The bigger the fan base, the more extreme all this looks. And you can especially see this with instances such as the airport mobs. Although I think it's sweet that their fans gather to send off and welcome back their faves while traveling, it looks so overwhelming. So there are K-pop fans, and then there are K-pop stans. K-pop stans, which are super fans, are just as emotionally invested as they are financially. Like emotionally distressed fans who take their idols' every move so personally. These fans really work overtime for these artists, and for free. No, actually they lose money. To guarantee their fave success, they encourage mass streaming of albums across the fan base, regardless if they even like the track list or not, mass buying of albums in every variation because you know they come in different members on the cover, different photo cards within the album, and pre-ordering everything, which is lucratively good for the group, but that has to take a toll on your mental health, if not your bank account for sure. But like I was saying, this fandom knows their power and will use the same enthusiasm when expressing displeasure as well. And that can be with a particular artist or even the company. K-pop idols are very much expected to acknowledge their fans and present themselves in the nicest, friendliest way. If they do not, these same obsessed fans will have no problem canceling them. They don't hesitate to address these huge multi-billion-dollar companies, nor the CEOs. If their favorite group hasn't had a comeback in a while, they're demanding answers. They send protest trucks demanding better treatment for their artists, among other things. And they'll wage war against each other in defense of their faves. And that's where you see a lot of the unhinged behavior. Well, that and the internet, of course. The internet is where most of the diabolical examples of toxic fandom exist. Especially the internet ones who don't go to concerts but just exist chronically online. They live in the crustiest crevices of Twitter, and they're always the first to accept disingenuous apologies of dumb racist idols. These are the people who, unintentionally or not, make standing K-pop feel like a cult. This is the type of fan known to be unreasonably super competitive and even aggressive with other fans. And because these fans have such a strong presence in the K-pop space, it's difficult to express an honest opinion about K-pop. These super fans feel like anything that isn't worshipping their favorite artist is slander or disrespect, which is just so bizarre to me because I find the conversations around criticism to be the most interesting. And heads up, that's exactly the kind of video you clicked on, but we'll touch on that in a little bit. K-pop has one of the most dedicated, if not deranged, fan base I've ever been a part of. But there's a lot of cuteness in the fandom too. But I think that's why the West has taken such an interest in K-pop recently, because where there's delusion, there's money to be spent. And these K-pop fans know how to support monetarily. And I think Western artists have figured out that a feature with a K-pop group, any K-pop group, equates to instant success on the charts. There's no doubt K-pop is having a huge fiscal impact globally. It's so exciting when your favorite K-pop group goes on tour, but their concerts can be very expensive. I saw Twice last year and it was not cheap. And of course, the bigger, the more popular the group, the more expensive the seats are gonna be. Also keep in mind that K-pop groups only come to a few big cities in America. In addition to world tours, K-pop merchandise is such a big deal amongst the fandoms. I enjoy concerts, and that's pretty much the most monetary support K-pop will be getting out of me, because I will not be participating in the mass album buying, not the photo card collecting, or the pre-orders. But I do enjoy looking at all you guys' stuff on TikTok. Light sticks are pretty essential to K-pop culture. Every group has their own version of one. The light sticks are pretty cool because they sync up during concerts and it looks really dope. It's also the fans' way of communicating support to their groups, which I think is kind of cute. But of course, the fans will also weaponize this against their groups. When fans are displeased with certain groups or they want to protest them, they'll turn off their light sticks during concerts while the group is performing, and this is called a black ocean. I guess the idea is that when the group looks out into the crowd, they won't see anything but darkness, which is kind of scary. Each K-pop group has their own devoted fan base with their own cute little nickname. For example, BTS has ARMY, Twice has Once, LE SSERAFIM's is Fear Not, and New Jeans is Bunnies, which I really don't like. It should be Pockets. And then there are the fan chants. A fan chant is a script K-pop fans shout together during certain songs to support the group and its members, get involved in the performance, and add to the concert vibe. It's also a way for fans to show love to the artist and create a sense of identity and community within the fandom. Through the fan chant, you can hear just how powerful the fandom is.
Happy New Year!
I can't lie, I love the $36 music show, Music Bank, Inkigayo performance shows. It reminds me so much of the old school 106 in Park. And I think it's super cute how different idols take turns being the MCs. When a group debuts a new song or has a comeback, they will perform the same song over and over and over and over, often the exact same way, but in different costumes and on different stages, typically displaying the different styles in their official music video. Visuals and choreography are at the center of music shows, which is a big attraction of K-pop. The performance stages range from a computer screen with strobe lights to a full 3D theatric set, with confetti of course. It's so fun to watch. I love seeing the different outfits. While they're doing this, they're also competing with the other performing groups. If they win, I think it's based off fan votes, the group performs an encore at the end of the show, which is them singing without the backtrack, and that's where we learn which groups can actually sing or not. The K-pop industry really knows how to promote their artists. The companies will often send their groups to variety shows, radio interviews, live music performances, and most groups will have their own YouTube channel where they will perpetually upload dance challenges, TikTok trends, collabs with other idols, and a kind of vlog, which results in an overwhelming amount of media content that ultimately familiarizes the artist's face, music, and personalities. It's how they trick you into listening to their music and becoming their fans. But the production is top tier. I love how dramatic or simply beautiful or fun the music videos can be. A lot of the K-pop I enjoy listening to is upbeat, flirty, and fun. According to Apple Music, my favorite song is Impurities by LE. K-pop is my go-to workout music, and I love learning all the dances. Twice is the group that brought me into K-pop. I kept seeing Talk That Talk everywhere on my socials. Then before I knew it, I'm watching the music video, and the next thing I know, I'm at the concert. So K-pop has always taken influence from other cultures, including Black American culture. And recently, the Western influence has been very prevalent. And you know, that's cool when it's not racist. Some groups do a decent job of pulling the swag off, as long as the backtrack is playing. And while K-pop has the things it likes to adapt from Black culture, what I like most about K-pop is something I wish we would adapt in our music industry, specifically for young Black girls. Your media representation is an extension of you. So many people all over the globe are severely influenced by the media. Existing in a marginalized group, you quickly learn that the way others perceive you does impact your real life. Absorbing a continuous pattern of your image can Jedi mind trick you into believing and behaving in whatever way your image is being used. So naturally, as a person with healthy self-esteem, you tend to want the best for yourself, but unfortunately, it's a group project. Yes, we are all individuals, and of course people should be treated in all situations as a case-by-case basis. But reality is, most people don't. And collectively, we are all judged by the images associated with us in the media. It's tricky because presently and historically, the Black girl image has intentionally been distorted, excluded, or erased. And the majority of what does exist isn't created by people who the image is meant to represent. And the results are problematic, to say the least. In this sector of my channel, I like to overanalyze and express my feelings on how I interpret my phenotype's representation in all kinds of media. So if video essays about race and Black girl POV trigger you, please see the top right corner and quietly and politely X yourself out. And to everyone else, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and keep it cute in the comments. And check out my playlist, the Black Girl Representation series, for more videos like this. So I'm definitely more of a girl group fan when it comes to K-pop. It's my wiring. Since I was a little girl, I've always been into girl groups, fictional or not. But what I like and what I relate to most is the overall celebration of girlhood, womanhood, and highlighting femininity. There is power in femininity. Because so many of us are living in a tough and often cruel world, we can easily forget the immense value and strength found in qualities like nurturing, empathy, and compassion. These traits have a quiet, subtle influence that doesn't rely on aggression or dominance. Instead, they reflect a profound form of self-love and gentle strength. What ultimately pulled me into K-pop was just how cute I thought it all was. I love all the cutesy, pretty girl, girly girl concepts. The colored hair, the feminine accessories and outfits, even the choreography that ranges from fun to cute to silly to sexy. K-pop honestly doesn't have the highest vocal standards, in my opinion. But they put so much effort in the visuals, dancing, hair, makeup, and wardrobe. What has always stuck out to me is that femininity is always at the center. I am one of those girls who identifies so deeply with being a girl And I mean, I did grow up in a pretty amazing media era for girls. We had so much tween representation in our media and older girl role models too. So it makes sense. I love the huge emphasis K-pop puts on hyper-femininity. Their music industry does such a good job of presenting positive female representation. There are so many K-pop girl groups, and with that, a variety of creativity expressed in their visuals and style. My favorite is the cute, happy, flirty, super girly concept that Twice is known for. I prefer girl crush or the sexy girl concept on groups that don't have minor members. There is just so much intention to make each girl the cutest version of herself. And that has an impact on the audience, specifically the girls watching. It can inspire them to participate in performing arts or just to be the cutest version of herself. Both good things. And although we know K-pop idols are just regular people with jobs at the end of the day, they are placed in a position to be role models as well. And for what I've seen so far, I think the majority of them do a great job presenting themselves to their fans. And I really appreciate that. That's positive female representation. No doubt, Black American girls are represented in the music industry. Our girl groups are some of the biggest in the world and most influential. Those artists, as miraculous and talented as we know them to be, paved their own way. So I don't want you to get it twisted when I start complaining, because I truly appreciate those artists and their image as Black girl talent. Please remember that when I speak and share my point of view of the media representation of my phenotype, my image, that I am zoning in on the issues. And two things can certainly be true at once. My goal is not to hurt anyone's feelings, but to bring awareness to important issues and things that I picked up on. And yes, I acknowledge that a lot of Black women are doing a great job in real life being positive Black girl representation. A benefit of social media is how Black girls can see other Black girls being positive role models. And there has been a slight surge of Black girl media resulting from this. The problem is, presently, in my opinion, there's just not enough positive and appropriate representation being pushed to young Black girls, particularly tweens, especially in the music industry. Music, as we know, is tremendously influential. And while Black girls shine in this area, our image and our reputation has been very much sabotaged, primarily with rap and hip-hop, one of the most popular and heavily influential genres created from Black culture. The irony, she said sarcastically. I've always noticed this malicious pattern of misrepresentation. I pointed out in my Black Girl Representation series, link in the description, along with the intentional yet subliminal neglect towards Black girl phenotype in the media. What Black girls see being celebrated, what is intentionally flooding their algorithm is the exclusion or misrepresentation of their image, especially in spaces that would benefit them. Most of the mainstream Black girl artists that I see being promoted to Black girls center hypersexuality rather than femininity when it comes to their style and lyrics. And sure, maybe a few of you like being represented this way, and that's totally fine, but I can't ignore how harmful these images are to Black girls and women. I'll be honest with you, I don't see the benefits in being represented this way. The overtly sexy image just makes people feel validated in essay towards Black women and girls. And the grimy, hood-adjacent imagery perpetuates the masculine stereotype, which people use to validate our lack of protection. And yes, idealistically, these images should be viewed as nothing but art. But we know what type of world we live in, and we know that racism plays a huge part in all of this. It's way too dangerous not to take the handling of our image seriously, in my opinion. Music is tremendously influential, especially with us, so I pretend. There is a lack of balance. Our image's promotion in the media is overwhelmingly negative. And I've noticed when Black girl music is positive, with potential to show Black girls being celebrated and centered, there is pushback and efforts are made so that the visual interpretation is vague enough that any girl can be represented by it, therefore taking Black girls out of the spotlight. This not only influences Black girls and women, but the people around them. And if you haven't noticed, it's placed us in a box, making it hard for ourselves and others to accept that we are truly multifaceted. There is also a pattern in the media of the Black girl image being erased and replaced. This is a super hard pill for a lot of Black girls to swallow, and we're gonna dive into it in this video. It is important for Black girls to see themselves positively, meaning girls and women who look like them with their physical features. Representation is actually important for everyone. It contributes to healthy self-esteem. And it's unfair how, unlike any other group of women, degrading stereotypes are pushed forward as the default version of Black women. Any woman, anywhere, is capable of being angry, loud, aggressive, and whatever demonizing quality you can think of. These emotions and traits aren't exclusive to Black women, and it's racist to think so. However, these negative tropes have been deemed our norm, and our media representation often supports this. And as we know, the way we are perceived through media influences how we're treated every day in real life by others. One aspect about K-pop that I admire is how they promote the beauty of South Korean women. They are the standard of their own beauty. From what I can see, it doesn't appear that foreign women set the standard in their space. Yes, there are foreign women in their space, but they are being held to the South Korean standard of beauty, not anyone else's. This is actually something everyone does outside of Black women. They present the best version of themselves by promoting media that reflects it. This results in a standard that benefits the collective image of the group. And everyone in the community supports this by how they pedestalize their own women. I often compare that to how the Black sector of the music industry has made other women, non-Black women, the standard of beauty for Black women. Across the board, beauty is exceptional and subjective, but still, there is so much pushback to Black girl beauty and Black girls celebrating their femininity. And it's not exclusive to the music industry, unfortunately. Through media representation and treatment, we can see that society wants to convince Black girls that, for them, beauty is unattainable. Black girls grow up hearing their natural and healthy features being made synonymous to ugly, low class, and undesirable. Black features, including dark skin, thick lips, big nose, tightly curled, coily, thick hair, are often demonized on Black girls. These traumatic experiences are what makes Black women so vulnerable to low self-esteem, inferiority complexes, self-hatred, and internalized colorism. It's actually so insidious because we see through the media especially how Black features and other aspects of Black girlhood are often celebrated on mixed or non-Black girls while criticized on Black girls. There is a special hatred of Black women and their image when it is phenotypically Black, meaning monoracial, unambiguous, and dark skin. There are many Black girls who've normalized their image's exclusion and mistreatment and oppose positive representation of their beauty when met with it. Colorism, texturism, and featurism, the descendants of racism that plague the Black community, but more so used against Black girls and women. Colorism is a discrimination of dark skin. An example is how often in Black girl groups or multiracial groups marketed towards Black girls, the lighter or non-Black member is intentionally always placed in the center. In most media, the lighter skinned individual is pedestalized over Black girls, and this attitude is very much reflected in real life, both inside and outside of the community. I give examples of this in my Overanalyzing the Sex and the City reboot and Just Like That video. Texturism is the discrimination of hair texture, primarily against Black girl thick, curly, coily, and especially Afro-textured hair. I talk about this in depth in my Afro Puff vs. Space Buns Animal Crossing New Horizons video, but over here in America, Black women had to advocate for themselves to get a law passed that would protect us from being fired, dismissed from school, or rejected from career opportunities based on the natural texture of our hair. The Crown Act, which stands for Creating a Respectable and Open World for Natural Hair. The act was first introduced in California in 2019, but as of 2024, only 24 of the 50 states has passed the Crown Act, not including the state I reside in now, by the way. Featurism is the discrimination of facial features, primarily non-white, non-European features. This is why it's so important and not divisive to distinguish the difference between Black and biracial or mixed girls, especially when it comes to image and media representation. It doesn't matter that you can't tell the difference between Black and biracial people, that's racist. Plus, most Black and biracial people can. And it's intentionally dishonest because, as seen through the obvious difference in treatment and imagery that Black and biracial girls receive, you absolutely can tell the difference. Check out my Overanalyzing That One Moment in Daria video for an excellent deep dive into that topic. The biggest challenge to Black girl beauty, in my opinion, is the erasure element. Often in media, and especially Black media, the Black girl character or space is commonly represented by a mixed or biracial girl. This is something that I only see being done to Black girls, not any other group of monoracial girls. And again, This isn't about hurting anyone's feelings or measuring blackness. The truth is, black girls and biracial girls have their own images, their own phenotype, and they are two different groups of girls, respectfully. The dishonesty of this is why we see so many black girls trying to manipulate their features and dilute their blackness to become more ambiguous, to reach this idolized beauty standard that isn't even ours. And it's undermining to black women to pretend that they're not allowed to represent their own image like everyone else does. This practice, although normalized especially in the black community, gaslights black women with false inclusion. This erasure rhetoric that black can look like everything and anything, or even we're all mixed at the end of the day, is just a way to manipulate black women into accepting their image's exclusion and erasure, and continue to center non-blackness as the standard of black girl beauty. Which is why I don't really like rap or hip-hop. As a black woman, I'm offended by the way black women are portrayed and treated within that culture. Rappers pretty much normalize futurism, texturism, and especially colorism, their favorite, against black women. They literally sing about it. From that community has some of the most vile and degrading attacks been made towards the collective of black women. The association of black women image with being a gold digger or nothing more than a sex object is heavily implied in that space. I know all women everywhere can be over-sexualized. I noticed that K-pop has a problem with it too, since they're presently obsessed with debuting minors and giving them grown women choreography. But it is often called out in the K-pop space. It is not praised. It is not set as the norm like it is for black girls inside and outside of their community. Black girls are nowhere near protected in the same way that I see the effort to protect girls in K-pop. We can all see it. Even the small things, like providing blankets for female idols to cover themselves, seem so amazing to me because I'm just used to seeing my image being exploited in what's supposed to be my space. Plus, the abundance of Me Too allegations involving these rappers that are currently being revealed and have yet to come. Truly despicable. To me, the bad just outweighs anything good. And I honestly don't know how rap and hip-hop have so many black women fans. But because rap and hip-hop comes from the black community, the hatred they have for black women is just so much more personal and magnified, as it is reflected in many of the members in the community. And although to you, I'm sure it sounds like I'm a super fan, but K-pop is far from perfect in my eyes, and cognitive dissonance can only go so far. K-pop and their fans have attitude towards black girls and women, and we're gonna overanalyze it in this video. Often, I am questioned on how I can possibly be a K-pop fan when they are known for being so colorist and racist, especially towards black people. And that is a fair question. It's not like black people, especially black women, don't already have a problem with supporting people and institutions who hate and disrespect us and our image. There is an uncomfortable amount of black women who still publicly support Chris Brown despite repetitive violent behavior and colorism. K-pop idols and their fans have archives of racist language and behavior, despite using so much obvious black American influence in their sound and style. They prove anti-blackness is global. One of my favorite groups, LE SSERAFIM, is no stranger to adapting black culture in their music and style. And for the most part, their fans are cool with it. They even collaborated with Nile Rodgers on their title track Unforgiven. What their fans weren't cool with was the use of black models in the LE SSERAFIM fashion line, and they were very comfortable expressing that publicly. These sewer rats left so many derogatory and evil comments disparaging the black models and their skin. I was so disgusted, but not surprised. Back over here in the US, the public threw the biggest tantrum and have been pouting ever since the casting announcement of Disney's live action The Little Mermaid. Despite all their bitterness and bitching, when the movie debuted, it only proved that my Aries sister, Halle Bailey, with her lovely natural princess voice, was the perfect choice. The movie was great. It combined the lore from all three movies and expanded on Eric and Ariel's relationship. But unfortunately, it has been nothing but crying and throwing up nearly every time there's a non-white casting for a prominent role, regardless if it's real or not. But The Little Mermaid was especially a big deal because she was black. Most people are completely a-okay when black women are cast in struggle, depressing, or minor roles that don't highlight their beauty. I remember how annoyed I was when everyone started fan casting Lizzo to be Ursula before the official casting was announced. But for black girls to portray the beloved Princess Ariel, that image being spotlighted on such a huge platform angered so many, including those overseas.
I know something's starting right now.
The Little Mermaid is getting doused in both China and South Korea amid a racist backlash over the casting of Halle Bailey in the role of Ariel. The movie has grossed a mere $3.6 million in its first 10 days of release in China, by far the worst showing among Disney's live-action adaptations. The movie is also struggling badly in South Korea, where it has earned $4.4 million through June 4th. Sources close to the movie, as well as box office analysts, say Disney knew The Little Mermaid could face challenges, but the company is surprised by the extent of the backlash and its impact. The social media outcry over Bailey's casting has been particularly loud in both China and South Korea. Sources believe this has resulted in unverified audience reviews bashing the movie. And in South Korea, such reviews have even made headlines. Bailey landed the role of Ariel back in summer 2019 after an extensive search that included hundreds of actresses. Her performance has been widely lauded by critics and verified audiences alike. In the US, The Little Mermaid has been doing good business. The movie has earned north of $186 million in its first 10 days and is pacing on par with a live-action Aladdin movie. Box office analysts believe The Little Mermaid could top out at $350 million domestically. Aladdin's domestic haul was $355.6 million.
And I feel like I refer to this clip in every video. So last year, one of my favorite top 5 songs of 2023 was Weekend by Taeyeon of Girls' Generation. That music video was so friggin' cute. I loved the song. I play it every Saturday morning, and then TikTok taught me about how racist she was. Taeyeon referred to biracial American artist Alicia Keys as pretty for a black. Needless to say, she won't be on my top 5 for any more playlists. As a black K-pop fan, and I've only been doing this for a few years, I noticed the cycle of becoming collateral damage and catching racist strays from unprovoked idols and their fans. This industry is typically so strict with their idols. They have to apologize for interactions with other idols that were taken out of context by their fans. They're not allowed to raise their home country's flag or date. But somehow, singing the N-word, doing blackface for fun always goes under the radar. And that's why, in all honesty, answering the initial question is hard. There are a lot of things I like about K-pop, but it almost goes away anytime it is revealed to me how racist and anti-black K-pop as a whole can be. The sad truth about being a black girl in any fandom space is knowing that there will always exist a sector of the fandom who hates you and wants to exclude you from the space entirely. It is a hard thing for me to come to terms with, especially for young black girls who are at a perfect age to discover K-pop, in my opinion. And that's who I'm worried about primarily when it comes to seeing how black girls are treated and represented in the K-pop space. Because there's something I can't help but notice when it comes to treatment of black girls in this space. There is a significant sector of black girl K-pop fans here in the US, and I think it's really cute seeing them being involved in the fandom on socials. And like little melanated fairies, black girl magic found its way into the K-pop world despite all the odds. I was so surprised to learn of the black girl writers in K-pop, like Victoria Monet, who helped write Blackpink's Ice Cream. But I guess if you really pay attention to some of the music and choreography, you can totally tell. Although there are a lot of successful foreign idols in K-pop, due to blatant colorism within the industry, I was always concerned for black girls in that space. Could they even get into the door? Once in the door, how would they be treated? Miss Kaya Boyd shared her story as a former K-pop trainee while being interviewed on Asian Boss. The interview is 4 years old, but it's still very interesting. Her experience regarding her skin and ethnicity went about how you would expect. Kaya signed a 5-year contract with a company in Korea and was expecting to debut after 6 months. Singing was her first priority, but after signing to a company, she was open to modeling, acting, and other media promotion opportunities. From watching the interview, Kaya seems really vague when asked about what caused her to split from her company. If I were to guess, Unfortunately, Kaya seemed to realize that her company was not going to utilize her, and after several disagreements, she and the company mutually agreed to separate. Kaya does have a YouTube channel where she elaborates on her life in Korea and her experience as an ex-K-pop trainee.
I want to inspire people, and I don't mean to inspire them to just come to Korea and be a trainee, no. But I want to inspire a lot of people who have been asking me about the trainee life and wanting to do something in the entertainment business in Korea. Don't let the things that I'm saying discourage you, because even though there's some good things or some bad things there, it's not to say that it's not going to be worth it in the end, especially if this is something that you want.
And Kaya is absolutely right. While the story of Kaya's experience with her first company can be seen as discouraging, it doesn't mean the opportunity for Black girls in K-pop is unrealistic. And luckily for us, we have the perfect example.
Je m'appelle Fatou, je suis la rappeuse et la leader du groupe Black Swan.
I was so excited when I discovered Vcha. She is the very first Black K-pop idol. It makes me so happy to have visible Black girl representation within the K-pop space. Vcha is an active member of the K-pop girl group Black Swan.
Unique. Hello, we are Black Swan.
Hello everyone, I'm Black Swan's leader and main rapper, Fatou. Nice to meet you.
Vcha is pretty amazing. She was born in Senegal, but moved to Belgium when she was 12, before ultimately moving to Korea. Vcha was a model before becoming a K-pop trainee. She started to dream about debuting as a K-pop girl group member at 14 after listening to groups like SHINee.
근데 저 15살 때 그 학교 친구가 저한테 우리 샤이니 선배님들 누나 너무 예뻐 뮤직비디오 보여줬어요. 그때 그 뮤직비디오 보고 완전 빠졌어요. K-팝에. 근데 그때부터 약간 꿈을 꿨어요. 나도 K-팝 아이돌 돼야 돼.
She learned Korean in 1.5 years as a trainee. She speaks 4 different languages.
안녕하세요 여러분들, 블랙스완의 리더 와메 래퍼 파투입니다. 반갑습니다. And I'll do this in English too, I guess.
Oh,
hello,
lovely. Thank you.
I'm the leader and the main rapper of Black Swan. I was born in Senegal, but now I live in Belgium. I love purple. I love eating chicken. I love drinking. You can take that however you want.
Okay.
In French. Bonjour tout le monde, je suis Fatou, la leader et la main rappeuse de Black Swan. And now in Nederlands. Hallo iedereen, ik ben Fatou. Ik ben de leider en rapper van deze groep. Ik ga van paard, ik ga van eten, van drinken, you know what I'm saying. En mijn kinderen. Dus, you know what I'm saying. That was me.
And now in German. You can't forget. 장난입니다. 괜찮아요. 와, 능력파. Wow, so you can handle so many different languages. That's really lovely. Wow, and also your Korean is perfect.
Thank you so much.
Vcha has released solo mixtapes as well. She made her solo debut with her first mixtape, PWAPF, Psycho with a Pretty Face, and recently released Letter 1. Oh, and she's an Aries. In 2020, Vcha debuted as a member of what was then a 5-member group, Black Swan. Black Swan originated from a previous group called Reina, known for its frequently changing lineup and drama. By the time Vcha joined, Black Swan had undergone its 3rd rebranding. Unfortunately, there was drama, bullying accusations, and ultimately, members left and members were replaced. In 2022, Black Swan revealed 3 new members and are currently a 4-member group. Vcha is the leader as well as the main rapper, lead dancer, and sub-vocalist. It totally seems like the first thing that everyone notices about this particular K-pop group is how ethnically diverse the members are. Vcha is Senegalese, she was raised in Belgium, and is now based in Korea. Gabby is Brazilian and of German descent. Shreya is Indian. She is the only Asian member of the group. And Envy is biracial and American. from Virginia. None of the members are of Korean nationality or East Asian descent. And I've noticed that these ladies get a lot of pushback to whether they are a legitimate K-pop group.
So I mean, the obvious question, you're a K-pop group, there's no K, there's no Korean. Does it matter?
Actually, there is K because we sing in Korean, and K-pop is Korean pop. So as long as the language is there, it is still K-pop.
Black Swan is a very talented group. Check out their music videos, Cat and Mouse and Karma. They're having a comeback this year. In addition to what makes Black Swan an important group is how they double as representation for many girls who typically don't see themselves in the K-pop space at all. It's not uncommon for K-pop groups to have foreign members these days, but because they are either biracial, white and Korean, or East Asian, they can sometimes have an easier time camouflaging Korean beauty standards and being accepted. Sometimes. Heavy on the sometimes.
There are other famous bands such as Twice and IZ*ONE who are considered K-pop bands even though they have foreign members from Japan and elsewhere.
It's more like a mindset for me, like K-pop. It's not just because you're Korean and making music in South Korea.
As there are no Koreans in the group, I've always looked at the group with doubts about them being K-pop, although they technically are.
Vcha's fans are very protective of her, since she has definitely been the target of racism and bullying. Just recently, she announced that she was deactivating her Twitter due to hate. For Black girls, it can be irritatingly difficult existing in non-stereotypical spaces. The negative effects of poor representation supports an ignorant mindset that limits what most people think Black girls can be interested in or do. I see this as part of the reason to why there is always pushback on being inclusive towards Black girls, especially in Asian spaces. People are often left in disbelief of our interest in Asian entertainment and media like anime, manga, K-dramas, or K-pop, despite it being marketed globally and heavily. Black girls are far from the only non-Asian group of people who appreciate K-pop and other Asian media. Depending on your environment, experiences, and proximity to the Asian community, you may have felt or got an idea of what anti-blackness from that community looks or sounds like. Popcorn brought attention to Vcha's experience with this in their YouTube video, First Black Idol reacts to Korean racial stereotypes.
궁금해. 난 특히 이 흑인 분이 너무 궁금해. 그치? 되게 막 엄청 센 음악을 할 것 같은데. 맞아.
In this song and on stage, yes, of course. But I feel like there's also another side about these words, because I feel like sometimes when people see like a Black person, they're like, oh, gangster, hey yo, what's up? But it's not like that, as you can see.
나의 이런 고정관념일 수도 있지만 뭔가 흑인 분이 이런 음악 중심에 나오는 게 낯설어. 그러니까 이게 약간 진짜 편견일 수도 있는데 아까 막 세게 맞아. 이거 할 때는 막 이렇게 막 수갑 이렇게 하고 갑자기 막 맞아. 약간 소녀시대 느낌으로.
I have something to say about this. I wonder what she meant with at the beginning she looked more like herself, like grrr, and now she's giving off Girls' Generation vibes. As I said before, it's not because someone is a Black person that they actually have to be Don't do that!
와, 랩할 거 생겨가지고 바로 보컬로.
Surprise!
저 무조건 랩할 줄 알았거든요, 그죠?
Hey. Not every... okay, I rap, that's true. But not every Black person has to rap.
At this very moment in time, Cat and Mouse was their latest comeback, and one of my favorites. Super pink and girly, and the song is so cute. But most likely, around the time I drop this video, they will have a new comeback. And I can't wait to see what Black Swan has planned for the future. Seeing Vcha in this space is truly inspirational, especially for Black girls. So, remember the group I brought up a minute ago? Rania? I apologize for the mispronunciation, but they were the original group that Black Swan descended from. They were the epitome of mess. The group was a revolving door of members, and one of those members was Alex Reed, one of the first biracial K-pop idols who you guys often refer to as the first Black K-pop idol. The way Alex was treated in Rania was crazy. There were instances where her company, DR Music, wouldn't include her in the choreography during performances, so after her rap, she would just stand awkwardly on the side of the stage. She didn't speak Korean, so she was often isolated from her members and super confused, I'm sure. They treated her like an alien when it came to her hair and makeup, of course. And no doubt her proximity to blackness, being biracial, was definitely a big part of the racist treatment she experienced. A big part of my deep dives and overanalyzations of black girl representation in the media is acknowledging the difference between black girls and biracial girls, mainly because I know people are used to biracial women representing black women in the media especially, and for many, they have made it known loudly and publicly that this is their preference. But it is undermining and disingenuous to black girls to pretend that black and biracial girls aren't two different groups with their own image in the media. And especially over here in the States, those images are treated very differently. So try to keep that in mind as we move forward, because this isn't about measuring someone's blackness or denying that someone can experience racism. This is simply a video centering unambiguous black girls and their image. But I hope you guys aren't intentionally misunderstanding me, because while there have been a few biracial idols in K-pop, including fellow Black Swan member Envy, Vcha is the first African and black K-pop idol, and the only one active. But if I'm wrong, please politely inform me in the comments. I would love to know more about black K-pop idols.
A number of non-Korean K-pop groups have emerged over recent years.
I believe there may be a possibility to have, let's say, American K-pop, British K-pop, or Japanese K-pop. Why not?
For American K-pop fans, the idea of A-pop, a group trained and debuted under the South Korean music industry through the K-pop trainee idol program, would be so exciting and interesting, and a good opportunity to introduce a genre of music to a new audience. It also would provide kids actively involved or interested in performing arts another avenue to explore, especially those who are already big fans of K-pop. And so, one of the biggest South Korean multinational entertainment and record label decided to do just that.
Hi, I'm JY Park, the founder and chairman of JYP Entertainment, speaking to you from JYP Center in Seoul, Korea, the heart of K-pop.
In 2022, JY Park, who we know as JYP, and the CEO of Republic Records made an official announcement via JYP's YouTube channel.
Today, I'm so exhilarated to announce to you the biggest project ever for me and for JYP Entertainment, A2K.
They were seeking applicants for an American Idol-esque survival show reality competition to potentially select members for a new global girl group. They would recruit their contestants in North America and train them under the K-pop blueprint in South Korea. The competition would also be broadcast as a weekly web series on YouTube. The name of this competition was America to Korea, or A2K. JYP is the founder of JYP Entertainment, one of the biggest talent management organizations in South Korea. Behind the success of Twice, ITZY, Wonder Girls, Miss A, Stray Kids, and GOT7. JYP himself is an idol as well, and his internet footprint is hilarious. In my opinion, his company was the perfect label to establish an American girl group, since his existing groups presently have such a big fan base here in the States. Plus, I'm a big fan of Twice, and I think their kind of female music representation is much needed in the States, especially within my community. Survival shows aren't anything new to K-pop. Twice was formed from a survival show. And although it seems to be quite traumatizing for the participants, there are marketing advantages. Watching the girls compete and grow in their skills creates a connection or interest and gives the audience a chance to become familiar with the contestants. By the time the group is selected, they already have a fan base. Since A2K, there have been quite a few groups created from survival shows, but what made me interested in A2K specifically was obviously the concept of them being a global girl group and being based in North America, my headquarters. So I was beyond excited. So A2K was a big opportunity for young girls, particularly tweens, to watch or become good music representation. Tweens, in my opinion, don't have much appropriate content catered to them. Everyone is quick to say what tweens and teens shouldn't consume, but they are rarely addressing the fact that they don't have much existing presently. which is why so many of them are acting like 20-year-olds. I also secretly hope that black girls will be included and get a chance to shine too. The black community has a lot of musically gifted individuals, and there is a huge black girl K-pop fan base. And as I've mentioned before, the music directed at black girls is so inappropriate. It's hypersexualized and violent, a horrible influence. By episode 4 of A2K, the contestants who would compete for a spot in JYP's global girl group were selected. The finalists were Gina, Kendall, Lexus, Mishka, Kaylee, Camilla, Yuna, Savannah, Christina, Melissa, and KG. Now, for a group whose concept is supposed to be global representation, JYP seems to have intentionally chose the lightest and whitest contestants to represent North American girls. It was as if he used the brown paper bag test as a requirement to create this lineup. Colorism, unfortunately, lives deep within the black community, and so this term is used to describe a colorist discriminatory practice where skin was compared to a brown paper bag and only those lighter than the bag had value or beauty. In my opinion, I don't think it's a coincidence that each and every girl is light or white. As I mentioned before, it is known that colorism is very common in South Korea too, especially in the music industry. And they did say they were going to apply their standards to the North American contestants. It's unfortunate because, deliberate or not, this totally sends a message to dark-skinned girls, black girls especially, because of course the next thing I noticed was that none of the girls selected to participate on the show were black. Obviously, JYP meant for Savannah, Christina, and Melissa to represent the black girls. But this is undermining because each one of these girls is very visibly biracial. Christina, in my opinion, when her hair is styled in certain ways, looks the closest to black girl phenotype in her features, and sometimes I wonder if that played a part in the final decision. But black girls deserve their own clear representation. It's one thing to not include them, but it's another thing to try to substitute their image, essentially whitewash it, and gaslight them with false inclusion. As a viewer, it was difficult to genuinely like the show after this reveal, because the exclusion felt personal. Black culture is tied so deeply to music.
When I lived in America from 7 to 9, I was actually in New York. I fell in love with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, to Smokey Robinson, to all these black soul artists just mesmerized me. That's how it all started for me. That was music to me. That's the core and foundation of JYP music.
I find it very weird to acknowledge black music and its importance, how it contributes to your journey with music, which is obviously successful, but then deny black girls' representation on A2K. Excluding black girls from this specific music competition is crazy. And as a black girl, I was offended. K-pop is notorious for appropriating black culture way more than appreciating it. Black girls and women are such a pivotal part of music and dance, especially American music. Their contribution is undeniable. Black girls, despite lack of positive representation, historically and presently, have so much musical and media influence. We see so many trends originating from black girl creators go viral. The majority of the super viral trends that come out of America are created by people of black culture. Like everything, including most of the slang and stuff you hear on TikTok, including the popularity of the app TikTok itself. At every corner of black culture is music. Church, school, cookouts, grandma's house, the club, and it was a huge part of the civil rights movement. And there are so many vocally talented black girls, and we already have a reputation of being good dancers. It was kind of awkward watching and listening to all the black music featured in A2K with no black girl inclusion.
But I knew once we started kissing, I fell.
This is why I lean to excluding black girls being deliberate. Due to racism, colorism, featureism, and just pure hatred, the black girl image is often rejected. A lot of people like black girl style and slang, just not on black girls. This sends a message to black girls that blackness on them is bad, while it can be seen as special on others. This results in insecurities, inferiority complexes, and internalized colorism. Whenever I point out the exclusion of black girls, people love to remind me of all the reasons why their exclusion is valid. And before you get to typing away, Race plays a part in everything. To say it doesn't apply is a lie. We live in a world where what you look like matters and anti-blackness is global. And to pretend that a K-pop company didn't factor in looks, including skin tone, when a big part of K-pop is visuals, I have a hard time believing that. Maybe JYP and company didn't find any black girls who they felt were acceptable for their show. Maybe no black girls auditioned. Maybe all the black mamas said, no way is my baby living in South Korea. Maybe. Anything's possible. But I feel like the quickness to validate black girls' exclusion only proves my point further. Because the music industry and media as a whole has always had a pattern of misrepresenting black girls. No doubt K-pop has a colorism issue, but does that excuse upholding colorist standards if the point is to create a global girl group based in North America? I see so many black girls on TikTok within the K-pop space, writers, choreographers, makeup artists, and enthusiasts. So I have a hard time believing that there wasn't an interest in the competition. In September of 2022, JYP auditioned in Dallas, Chicago, Los Angeles, New York, and Atlanta, some of the biggest cities in America. JYP is one of the top 3 music companies in South Korea. If they wanted to, they could have. So I'm sad black girls couldn't get representation on a platform this big, because I knew whatever he did with the final group would be great. In the finale of the A2K competition series, JYP ended up choosing 6 girls for his global girl group. And I kid you not, I predicted the entire lineup perfectly. We have Camilla. She's a Latina girl from Canada. JYP loved her. She has the strongest vocals. KG. Now, I knew KG was a guarantee from the first episode for 2 reasons, white and blonde. I have consumed enough American media to know that anything targeted to a mainstream audience to ever exist on TV has to have a blonde white girl at the center. And as we know in America, blonde and white have been pedestalized to be the standard image of beauty for all women, despite America being a melting pot. KG has the phenotype that is collectively celebrated all over the world. I even had the impression for a long time, maybe because I watched so much anime, that her phenotype was pedestalized in Asia too. But anyways, KG was JYP's way of validating the A in A2K. There's Lexi. She's Hmong. She's cool. Good dancer. I think she's the leader. Then we have Savannah. Savannah is actually my favorite. She has the best stage presence and she's the best dancer. And then Kendall. Now, at first, I admit, I thought Kendall was undeserving of her spot. I think a lot of people did. But now seeing her perform as an idol, I think she fits it nicely. She also has good stage presence. And Kaylee, who's the maknae or the youngest person in the group. Kaylee is way too young. She's 14 years old and way too young. I'm surprised her family let her go to South Korea. Vcha did relocate to Los Angeles, but Kaylee is now on hiatus. Hiatus is something that happens a lot in K-pop groups. If things become overwhelming for them or they need a mental break, the company will announce that the particular member will be on hiatus and we won't see them in the upcoming promotions. So I hope she's okay, but honestly, 14 is way too young. The name of the group would be Vcha, which is a Korean word and translates to shine upon. I think Vcha is totally cute. I think their music is perfect for them and they give good preteen teen representation. And I love the K-pop style on American Girls. It was cute seeing their pre-debut life in South Korea through their behind-the-scenes vlogs. In March of 2024, Vcha joined Twice's Ready to Be tour and opened for them during their Mexico City and Las Vegas shows. That was a huge deal. And this year, they will be performing on the same stage as Stray Kids and New Jeans at Lollapalooza. Representation on big platforms are amazing opportunities. And obviously, I shouldn't have to say this, but this is not in any way or shape hate towards the girls. I like them as a group and wish them luck. I hope to see them on Music Bank or Inkigayo again soon. You know, I was really surprised with the lack of conversation from black girls about this. I understand a lot of black girls identify with biracial girls as a way of coping with their lack of positive representation, so it's possible that it went over a lot of heads. But if you're a returning viewer, you know that I think it's important to keep it real with myself and point out when our image is being misrepresented, erased, or excluded. What's crazy is Black women have so much buying power in the United States, which is why so many businesses pander towards us. JYP missed out on this opportunity by excluding a Black girl member. The Black girl community, especially myself, would have celebrated Vcha and supported them just for including us in this space. It would have meant so much to us. At the core of this video, I'm truly sad for the missed opportunity for Black girl representation in this space, especially seeing what JYP is doing with Vcha. Black girls could have really benefited from this kind of imagery, because Vcha is too cute, girly, and fun. And I'm disappointed that despite acknowledging the talent and influence of Black music, JYP still excluded Black girls from having a spot to compete on his global platform. If you were a Black girl who auditioned for A2K and you'd like to share your experience in the comments or on Discord, I'd love to hear all about it. I'm so surprised I never came across a TikTok or something, honestly. Please like the video, please share the video, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Remember, be respectful and keep it cute. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. Videos on these topics aren't the easiest to make because they're so personal, and I've had this in the drafts for a while. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate the support. To let me know if you've watched the video in its entirety, please leave in the comments your favorite K-pop group, your bias, and your favorite song. So in conclusion, to answer the original question, I'm going to let Jisoo from Blackpink sum up my experience being a Black K-pop fan.
Not bad, but not good.
Yeah.